All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Friday. Happy Friday to everyone out there. May 9th, we got two NBA playoff games to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, we're going to go through both of these games. I'm going to give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3 for more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. Yesterday we had a good day. Now, it doesn't mask the bad day that we had prior to, right? But we had Timberwolves first quarter money line. That one cashes. And then Brandon Podziemski there over 3.5 assists for even money. We shall take it. We'll pump it some crowd noise. No money gun necessary, though, because, again, we had a reverse sweep 2 nights ago. Just because we go 2-0 last night does not mean that we're in the clear here, right? So still a good night. Again, Timberwolves and Podziemski coming through for us. Good to see when we have those one-game slates where we can find 2 plays that we do really like in there. But again, we want to pull some of that momentum into today and get this winning a little bit more consistent because the playoffs have been tough, right? We've been up, down, up, down, up, down, like we're on the miniest of roller coasters. We don't have these massive, massive swings. But we do have 2 games on today to do just that. Get some momentum going here. Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and dive into game number 1. We got Indiana taking on Cleveland. Indiana now up 2-0 in this series. Both games kind of shocking in their own way. I'd say game number 2 with the Tyrese Haliburton game winner a little bit more shocking. But at the same time, Cleveland's been injured, right? I mean, game 2, no Mobley or Garland. Garland has missed some time. They're both listed as questionable in this one. As is DeAndre Hunter. So I would say, and DeAndre Hunter didn't play in that last game either, I would say that a healthy Cleveland team, this Indiana team hasn't really seen yet, right? And especially without their point guard, that's a big deal. You throw in Evan Mobley in the mix, and it's like a really big deal. So, yeah, I do think that this is a spot in which we want to watch the injury report because I like Cleveland -2.5 if Garland plays, if Mobley plays. I mean, if Hunter plays for that matter as well. Like, this is a Cleveland team that I still do believe in and I think is very, very good. And it doesn't seem like these injuries are that crazy. But what do I know, right? Like, Garland's missed 4 straight playoff games. This might be his 5th, or maybe I have those numbers, a game off with a sprained toe. It's like, dude, your team's down 0-2. You can play, right? So, yeah, I'm assuming these guys play when breaking this down, but if they don't, I guess we could throw anything out the window and I end up not touching Cleveland. But give me Cleveland -2.5. I do think that even for, what could we say, maybe 3 quarters, maybe even potentially more than that, they played better basketball than Indiana for the, I should just say for the most part of that game number 2, right? Because Indiana closed out that first half pretty damn well. But that 4th quarter, Indiana won by like 16 points. And watching the end of that game, you could tell Indiana was going to win that, as crazy as it is. They were down 8, then they were down 6, then they were down 5. Then all of a sudden, one possession, they get the ball back. Haliburton missed the foul shot to get his own rebound, hits the 3. It's like, this is shaping up to be a shocking series. But Cleveland's been injured, and I'm still willing to give him that caveat there. Give me Cleveland -2.5 points solely because, they probably could have won game number 2. Now they're at, in Indiana, and who's to say they can't go out there and beat Indiana at home? Indiana this season, when at home, honestly, not exactly like the craziest of home-away numbers, but, they were a better home team, so I will give them that credit. But Cleveland has a really good away record, so maybe that'll help them out, right? Honestly, I should make that point saying that Cleveland's pretty much just as good on the road as they are at home versus saying Indiana kind of, is the same at home because they are a little bit better at home. Anyways, in terms of a total, I would probably say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Maybe we keep looking at the over here. At some point, one of these teams is going to play some lockdown defense, and a healthy Cleveland team, I would assume it's them. But, looking at how Indiana's been shooting, like they scored 120 by shooting 52% from the floor and 39% from three. Like they can do that, right? And then you flip to the Cleveland side of things. That last game, 43% from the floor and 28% from three. Like they can increase there. So I don't necessarily see, even if defense plays a bigger role, in this one, and they get to, even just normal shooting numbers, we could still see 230 in this game. So I'm going to lean slightly to the over. And then in terms of player props, I do have two, and they're both on Cleveland, and they're both on guys that are potentially not playing, Garland and Mobley. I like Garland's points. 16.5 right now is super, super low. If he does play, this is the playoffs. I don't expect him to come in there and play 15 minutes or something like that, right? I'd expect a decent workload from him, and 15 or 16.5 points just seems very, very low, obviously, right? 2 games against the Pacers this year, 20 and 24 points. In terms of his playoffs, he's hit this in both games that he's played in. In terms of his games in general, he's hit this in over his last 30 games in 22 of them, so 73.3%. So if he's at all healthy, this should be a good line, and I do think that they need him in this spot, to be completely honest. I mean, he's going to be able to shoot from, I would say, where he likes to, above the break. He's a good pick-and-roll ball handler, scorer, and Indiana's just been kind of middle of the pack throughout the playoffs doing that. So, yeah, I think it could be a decent spot for Darius Garland. But again, is he healthy? Is he going to play? Still a question mark there. Evan Mobley's the other one. Game number 1, he had 20 points in the playoffs so far. He's hit this in 3 of 5 games, and he's averaging 17. His line is at 17.5. I do expect, even if Garland plays or he doesn't, like they're going to rely on someone like Mobley that can score down in the paint, which is still kind of a sore spot for Indiana. What they're doing right now to prevent points in the paint is really packing the paint, but that doesn't tell me that they're going to be a prolific paint defense. They're still a really good perimeter defense to some degree, or they at least were during the regular season. But Evan Mobley down there should get his looks and should get, I guess, should get his, in a sense, being able to go out there and get 18 points. Again, in a game in which, he didn't even shoot incredibly from the floor. I think he only shot it, in terms of quantity, only shot it like 12 times, scored 20 in game number 1. So I think they'll need to rely on him a little bit more. I also looked at Tyrese Halliburton's points. These are all points props we're looking at. He's been kind of crushing it, right? 3 straight games, closing out Milwaukee, 26, game 1 against Cleveland, 22, and then game number 2 against Cleveland, 19 points. So I don't mind that. Also considering his over 2.5 threes. Cleveland's a very good perimeter defense, as we know, but he's hit 4 straight games of 2 threes. His percentages are, decent too, so it's not like he's looking for the 3, but 2 of 5. Then he goes 2 of 10, 2 of 8, 2 of 2 in that last game. So if we just get a little bit of quantity, I think we could easily look at a Halliburton 3-3 game. So that could be something. I forgot to mention earlier when I said we have 2 player props, they're both Cavs. Halliburton's threes, Halliburton's points are also worth considering today, I would say. Now, the thing with those player props is that they are, you're taking a chance. You're taking a risk. How about a nice gimme pick over on Underdog? Donovan Mitchell, 0.5 points. Yes, we looked at Garland. Yes, we looked at Mobley. Sure, we looked at his opponent, Tyrese Halliburton. But Donovan Mitchell, arguably the best player in this series, probably the best player in this series, 0.5 points. Go ahead and check out Underdog, guys. If you have not checked it out yet, all you have to do is pick higher or lower based on player set projections. The more you get correct, the more you get paid out. It's really cool. When you sign up today using the link down in the description or the pinned comment, whichever is easiest for you, or just use code GUYBOSTON, you'll sign up, you'll get this free pick. You'll also get a deposit bonus up to $1,000, $1,000, yes. So go ahead and check it out, guys. Again, that link will be down below. If you like player props, there's really no simpler platform out there than Underdog to get some more action on the game. Super fun, super quick, super easy. Really, go ahead and check it out. If it's available in your state and you're not on Underdog yet, I highly suggest it. You don't want to regret missing out on this. So that link will be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. All right, game number 2. Denver taking on OKC. So OKC does bounce back, which I think a lot of people would have expected, right? And they bounced back in a big way. They came out pretty much right away, said, all right, we're going to beat you 45-21 in the fourth quarter, and then you're not going to win a single quarter. I think Denver actually Denver might have won the fourth quarter, but regardless, it was too little too late at that point, right? So yeah, that shows that the Thunder team does have some resilience, similar to when, I know John Morant got hurt, but when they were beating Memphis, and they went into Memphis and kind of got punched in the face and still ended up winning the game. So this OKC team definitely has some resilience, which isn't something I would say they had even a year ago, right? When they got bounced early as one of the best records in the NBA, which is good if you're an OKC fan or liking OKC tonight. Now, this number -5, I think it's like, damn, I would look at this and be like, that seems like a pretty, I don't know if this is the right word, it's a weird word, but yummy number if you like OKC. Like, when's the last time this Thunder team had a spread like that? You know what I mean? So, yeah, there is part of me that's thinking this should be a Thunder game, but Denver at home, Denver showing that they can beat them makes me question it a little bit. So I would say that this is the type of thing where maybe OKC says, screw it, let's go punch them in the face early again. I'm going to go OKC first quarter, OKC first half. I'd consider that full game, but again, it really is a tough situation. Like, if this was in OKC, no kidding, we'd like OKC -5. But Denver's already shown that they can hang with this team, especially that game number 1, right? So I think I might just go OKC first quarter money line, because you can get that right now for like -130. First half, and then I'd consider the full game. Weird things happened at the end of the game in that game that the Nuggets won, right? But OKC won the first quarter. They won the second quarter. They might have won the third quarter. I'm not sure about that, but then they definitely lost the fourth quarter, right? So it's like, okay, OKC has now won out of the first 2 quarters. They've won it in both games. This team starts a little bit better than Denver. Now, Denver is at home, which is going to make a difference, right? Looking at this Denver team this year at home, they were 26-20, 20 on the road, 29-16 at home. The good thing, and it's much like that Indiana and Cleveland thing, if you do like OKC like we do, OKC was 38 and has been 38-7 at home. That's incredible, right? 34-8 on the road. So I mean, this team can hang on the road as well. When they played in Denver this season, they won the early game, 102-87. They then lost by 2. Even in that game, though, they won the first quarter, so definitely worth noting, right? Then they actually, those might have been the only 2 games in Denver. So yeah, the early game they'd won the first quarter. So both games this year they won the first quarter in Denver. So kind of like them to get off to a hot start, and they are kind of like a hotter starting team, right? I would say that for sure. In terms of what we have from a total, this might be kind of crazy after the first 2 games that we've seen, but I don't mind an under in this spot. I think what Denver's going to probably want to do is slow things down. Ultimately, just because, if OKC gets out and runs, I think that that's going to be bad for Denver. And we kind of even saw it, right? Like, they could not even stop a nosebleed with them running in transition in game number 2. So I think Denver learns from that and says, okay, hey, let's pump the brakes on this one. We can hang with them as long as we have, our half-court offense going. Because this OKC team will gladly, if you give them half-court offense, they will play it. It's not like they're going to keep trying to run. So I think if Denver comes into this one with a little bit slower of a mentality, OKC will be like, all right, let's play half-court ball, because they like to take it to the hoop. They like to do some isolation plays, pick and rolls, and that type of thing, right? I do think isolation is where we can get them. Denver's been a really good team against the pick and roll this year, which OKC runs a ton of, but they run a ton of isolation as well. So looking at guys, if we want to move over to the player props here, looking at guys, and this should not drop any jaws, but someone like Shea over 31.5 points. Him against Denver has looked pretty damn good. So far in the playoffs, 33, 34 points, right? In the playoffs, just in general, he's kind of ramped up to those numbers. But another one that I would kind of consider here is someone coming off the pick and roll. Not that he's an isolation player, but Jalen Williams now has missed his mark in 2 straight games, but I think that he's kind of due for a good game as well. And if Denver does end up pinching that pick and roll and whatnot with, say, Shea doing it, I think Jalen Williams could kind of benefit from a decent amount of spot ups, and he scores about 20% of his points from the spot up. So the 2 studs on OKC, I do like them to score tonight. But, ultimately, I think that OKC first quarter is what I'm saying is my favorite. Now, if we had to give something on the Denver side of things. It's really hard. Now, I think I'm late to the party, ladies and gentlemen, but it's really hard not to look at Russell Westbrook. Even in his last 30 games, he's hit the over in his points in 21 of those, so 70% conversion rate. Head-to-head against this Thunder team, he's hit it in 4 of his last 6. In the playoffs, he's hit the over 13.5 points here in 7 of 8 games. He's playing, 20-ish, I would say 25 minutes on average, right? And he's shooting the ball 9 to 15 times. So, yeah, I think this could be a spot in which Russell Westbrook against his old squad does some good again. My problem is, it's kind of volatile, right? You just with Westbrook in general, and throw in the fact that we're late to it. Everybody's been hammering home the Russell Westbrook plays. 1 game in the playoffs so far, and that's the game he only played was like 9 minutes, right? And that was a blowout from the Clippers. So it's like all the games in which he played double-digit minutes, he's hit the over. I might be late to the party, and I don't want to jinx it for all the people that have been cashing it. But, yeah, that is going to wrap it up for today's show, guys. Again, keep an eye down on the pinned comment, taking you to all of the final plays. We haven't been going crazy, 2, 3, maybe we get crazy with like 4 or 5 plays per night, but with 2 games on the board, we can be a little conservative. We've had a good NBA season, not as good as last year, but that's okay. As long as we're in the green, we're good to go. So I don't want to piss that all away and ultimately just throw stuff at the wall and hope it sticks, especially in the playoffs when things get a little bit tighter and a little bit harder. But that's all I have for you guys. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment 16. You're just shy of the 16-minute mark. Really do appreciate you guys for tuning in is what I'm trying to say. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.